This is Kathy from Gadgets Top 321, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at a pen that is new to me. This is a Pilot Custom Heritage 91. The Custom Heritage 91 is not available from retailers in the US. The 92, which is a piston filler, is available in the US, but the 91 is a cartridge converter pen, which is my favorite type of filling mechanism. So I picked one up on eBay from a seller who's not an actual pen seller. There are lots of individuals who collect and sell pens on eBay. I got this from an individual who was just selling a pen from their collection, and you can see they sent several ink cartridges with it, and they had the little tag. It's a Custom Heritage 91 with a 14K nib. It is... Wait a minute. The tag says fine. I just noticed that. But this is a medium. Maybe they switched out. Maybe that's why they got rid of this one. They wanted a fine and got a medium and gave me their box. I don't know. But this is a medium, and it has the stickers still on it. And I'm going to put the lid back on. Let me show the nib just to make sure. But I've been using it. Yeah, this is a number 5 medium nib. And just to show, people always ask about this, you can take these little stickers off. The seller said this had been in their rotation, and there are people who like to keep the stickers on them. So this seller apparently was one of those. And I always recommend, when you're buying a pen from a seller on eBay, make sure they have a decent rating, that they've sold a number of items and have a good reputation. Go through and read their feedback as a seller. If they have a lot of feedback, narrow it down and look at their negative and neutral feedback and see if there are any issues. But this seller was great. The box was well packaged. This box was inside another box that had packing peanuts in it, so it was very secure. They sent me some extra cartridges. It didn't come with a converter, and the seller was clear about that. And that was okay for me, because my plan was to switch this medium nib for the fine nib that is in my Custom 74. I wanted the medium nib in this one with my larger Con 70 converter, and then since this is an opaque pen, I was just going to use it with my Con 40, with one of my Con 40s. And I've discovered that the Con 40, the pen just feels too light, basically. I prefer the feeling of that weight, the balance that it gives the pen. This metal back here hits right here and just gives the pen a nice balance. So I ordered, since this did not come with a converter, I ordered another Con 70. I ordered this one from Amazon, and I had a choice between the black converter and the silver one that I already own. And the black one, I think, is the new version. It's just been redesigned, so I'm going to put this one in my new Custom Heritage. But for now, let's see, I think this pen is running on fumes anyway, so hopefully I've got enough ink in it to do a writing sample. But I wanted to compare the medium number 5 nib to the medium number 3 nib that I have in my Stargazer. Now my Stargazer, this is a brass pen. It's got a lot more heft to it, so I use these two pens for different things. I've been using the Custom Heritage for about a week now. Let's see. In my Filofax pocket, both of these pens fit nicely in my little pen loop. And even though they are pens with flat ends, they're tapered just enough that even in this relatively tight pen loop, they're able to slide in there nicely. So these two pens, as well as the Legno, which is basically a similar shaped pen to the Stargazer, and my Custom 74, it works well with this pocket notebook. I'm enjoying this pocket notebook. I use the hole punch from my ARC notebook. It's the full size punch, and I have been able to take a goulet notebook that has Tomoe River paper, use my paper cutter to disassemble the little notebook, and now I've got Tomoe River paper in here. It's difficult to turn because the paper is so flimsy. You gotta be careful. The little tabs will bend and get caught. In fact, yeah, well, it straightened up pretty easily. For some people that might be a total pain, but I like being able to have different types of paper in this one notebook. I can use Tomoe River paper for testing pens or taking notes about my pens, and you can see then closing it can be an issue. Those little tabs get caught on each other. I wouldn't use this as my everyday writing paper. This was kind of an experiment, but I like just knowing that I can keep some Tomoe River paper in this notebook. And one of the reasons I like this little notebook so much is that I can always have like a clean, fresh, new notebook in the front. Whenever I get done taking a note, I put it back in the yellow section. Let's see, the red section is my Rhodia paper, which is my favorite. This paper has a little more structure to it, so the tabs hold up a little bit better. It's a little easier. You see that one got caught, but a little easier to turn the pages, and it's one of my favorites for note taking. I'm going to use some of this Tomoe River paper for a writing sample. These are both Pilot medium nibs. The Stargazer's a number 3, and the Custom Heritage 91 is a number 5. They're both inked up with Herbin Poussière de Lune. Very smooth. Very nice. And I'm looking forward to getting that Con 70 converter in there to just give a little bit of weight back here to the back of the pen. Very comfortable. All right, let's see how it compares to the number 3 nib on the Stargazer. I'm going to go ahead and put that this was number 5 size nib. And this is a Pilot number 5 size nib. I'm a fan of these nibs because they just have a slight softness to them. Looks very similar. Yeah, and this is the number 3 nib. Let me see if I can feel any difference in the amount of softness since they're very similar, almost undetectable difference in the softness and bounciness of the nibs. Yeah, if you look at the scribble, the wetness is very similar. Look at the little loop-de-loops. I love these Pilot nibs. These are my favorites, and I'm getting honed in on what I like. I'm getting picky, basically. I'm getting picky. When I try to use other pens, like when I use my Sailor pens now, this used to be my favorite pen, but I'm just so spoiled by my Pilot nibs that if I try to use another pen, I'm just looking forward to getting back to the Pilot pens, or I do kind of like my Kaweco Sport now. I like switching out the nib on it, the AL Sport. So I'm getting spoiled for Pilot pens. And in the same way, I'm getting honed in on the inks that I like. I enjoy this Poussière de Lune in my medium nibs, and my other currently inked pens at the moment. I've got, let's see, my Prera. I'm enjoying my Prera with Tokiwa Matsu. And Tokiwa Matsu is one of those inks that I like in fine or medium nibs. It's just that warm green. Let me do a little writing sample with it. It's, I think, in need of being cleaned out as well. This is a fine steel nib. Just loving that ink. Let's see. Let me do the little scribble with it. Yeah, a much different feeling. Feels very different than the gold nibs. Okay. Another pen I've been using recently. I took my little Platinum Preppy that I ground into a blade grind. I was kind of trying to do something like an architect grind. It's not really a very sharp architect, so I just call it a blade grind. And I took it on some of the travels we've been doing recently. My intention was to each night journal a little bit. We were so busy. I literally journaled one sentence, but when we got back, I did do some writing in my planner with it. This is an awesome pen to use in my planner, and let me show you why. This pen started out a medium, and it still writes. It looks like a medium, but the downstrokes are a little bit finer. So for me, it just makes my writing a little more legible. My smallish writing. So the downstrokes are more like a fine, and the side strokes are still a medium. I prefer a stub nib. I prefer the wider strokes to be down. It just makes it, since you're moving to the side in general as you're writing, those thinner strokes being sideways, that just feels more pleasant to me writing. But I really like, let me zoom in a little bit more, the reverse writing on this nib is it looks like a fine stub nib. Let's see. And it's pretty smooth. And so writing in my planner, since my planner is a Jibun Techo, the grids are very tiny. If I need something to stand out, I can write regular. But for the most part, in those little grids, this is just, the reverse writing is really pleasant. All right, so I've been using this little notebook quite a bit for just little notes. If something pops in my head, I can take a quick note. I don't have to worry about messing up my notebook. If it's a throwaway note, I can throw it away. If it's something to keep for later, I can organize it in the back section. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, the seller who sold me the Custom Heritage 91 also sent this little pen sleeve. It's a Levenger pen sleeve. I'm not sure if it's real leather. I don't know. It kind of feels like real leather, but just a nice sleeve. Fits the pen perfectly. Very nice. And I've also gotten back into journaling. I've started using my traveler's notebook again. And with my traveler's notebook, I don't really travel with it. I travel to my living room or my bedroom. This brass pen and even the Legno, which is quite a bit lighter, I don't like to put in here. It's a smaller pen and it's just not as secure. I'll show you what I mean. Clamping it in here. I guess it would be okay. I'm just not as comfortable with it. These are nicer pens, this Stargazer and the Legno. They're not made anymore. I don't want it to fall out and get damaged. But I do like putting the Custom 74. I don't know if the pen is actually lighter, but it's larger. It just feels more secure in there. I like using my Custom 74 in here, and I might occasionally use the Custom 71. I think I prefer keeping it with this notebook. But I'm also thinking about switching nibs so that I can use the medium nib with more of a variety of colors in my journal. And then I like using that Pilot Fine nib with my blue inks like my Diamine Oxford Blue and Diatramentis Sherlock Holmes. Suki-Yo is an ink that I prefer in a finer nib. And some of my more saturated inks that I prefer in finer nibs, I like to use those for note taking. And, for journaling it's okay, but I think I would prefer the medium nib for journaling. But I'm just really excited about my setups that I have, and I'm more excited about using them and less excited about getting the next new thing. All right, and I just wanted to mention that today marks the 10th anniversary of uploading my first video to YouTube. And I think that first video was something to do with my iPad 2. I uploaded it in June of 2011. I think it was the video where I showed how to upload a document from my iPad to Dropbox or something like that. And that's how my channel got started. That's why I called it Gadget Stop. It was the tech gadgets that I used for school. And when I started making those videos, when I was looking at a new gadget, I had to ask myself, am I wanting this gadget to make a video, or am I actually wanting this gadget to use for myself? And that helped me keep me from falling down the rabbit hole of just buying everything that came out. In fact, I would have people asking in the comments if I had an iPad 2, could I review some other tablet? And I never considered myself a reviewer. I was just someone who liked to show what I was using at the time and anything about that device that might be helpful to other people. And I try to keep that in mind with my pens. I found myself, as I started uploading pen videos, I have to do the same thing. I have to ask myself anytime I want something new, do I actually want this for me, or am I just wanting to make a video about it? I've saved myself a lot of money by not buying pens that I was just wanting to make a video over. But these videos that I have made, hopefully you've found something useful or helpful in your decision making process, or maybe just entertaining, wanting to see other people's experiences with their pens. And if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.